Hello, Matt Davis here with some homework quiz help. This one is from section 5.5. A person plays roulette 8 times, betting on red each time. Recall there are 18 red numbers, 18 black numbers, and 2 green numbers on a standard roulette wheel. We will let x equal the number of wins in the 8 plays, and we want to calculate the probability that x equals 5 and approximate our answer using 4 decimal places. So the first thing we're going to do is make an alteration. To give help instead of answers, we'll look at the probability that x equals 3. All right, so now how do you do this? Well, the key thing at first is to recognize your situation. We're going to play roulette 8 times, and then we're going to let x be the number of wins in those 8 plays. So whenever you're doing something repeatedly and counting the number of times a certain thing is happening, that puts you in a success-failure situation. And if you're in that success-failure situation, it's an NP-Q problem. So you need to note NP and Q. N is the number of trials. In this case, that's the number of plays, so that will be 8. P is the probability of success in any one try, so that would be the chance of winning on any one play of roulette. And in this case, since we're betting on red, that would be the probability of red on any one spin. Since there are 18 red numbers and 38 numbers altogether, our P is 18 out of 38, or 0.4737. All right, so a quick note about this. We could use the decimal version, but when you're trying to get 4 decimal places and you round and you bring in error, which is why we put the approximately equal, and then you start using that number to continue on, that rounding error tends to spread. So if you want to use a decimal, you should probably put 5 or 6 places so you can trust the 6. What I'm going to do instead is just use the exact value, which is the fraction of 18 over 38. So then continuing on, Q is 1 minus P. So in this case, that would be 1 minus 18 out of 38, which would be the other 20 out of 38 numbers on the roulette wheel. I'll put the decimal here just for completion, 5263, but again, I'm going to use the fractions so that my rounding error doesn't spread through the problem. When you want to do the probability that x equals 3 and you know you're in an NPQ situation, you have to use the binomial probability formula to calculate those probabilities. So you need n choose x, which in this case would be 8 choose 3, and then p, which is our 18 out of 38 raised to the number of successes, 3, and then our probability of failure, q, 20 out of 38 raised to the number of failures. If you have 8 plays and 3 wins, then you have 8 minus 3, or 5 failures or losses. So we need 8 choose 3 times 18 over 38 to the third and 20 over 38 to the fifth. So we switch to the calculator. And the first thing we need to do is the 8 choose 3. So we type the 8, and then we go hunting for the choose, which is in the math menu. So I press the math button. Then we need the probability submenu, upper right. So math, probability, and then NCR is our choose. So 8 choose 3 times p to the third. When p is a fraction, you need to make sure that you enter it in parentheses so that whole fraction gets raised to the third. Otherwise, you're just raising the denominator to the third, and that will substantially alter and mess up your answer. And then times q, also a fraction, so also in parentheses, raised to the fifth. Press enter. We want 4 decimal places, so 0.2403, but that 3 is followed by a 7, so we will round the 3 up to a 4, so 0.2404. So coming back, 0.2404. So that's our answer, and that's what we would enter into active learning. Places where this could go wrong: if you used a decimal and didn't put enough decimal places, that rounding error could mess up your answer. If you used fractions and forgot parentheses, that could mess up your answer. Another common mistake is not making sure that your exponents on P and Q add up to the number of plays. So that's a place you want to be careful with too, and make sure that those two exponents, 3 plus 5, equal the total number of plays, in this case 8. All right, hopefully that helped you spot your error and you're ready to go back to the quiz. Good luck to you as you do.